Have you heard of Toei using AI? Candy Sensei, yes I have. I have heard of it. I'm actually not surprised though. I kind of knew it was going to come. AI is inevitable. As much as people don't want it to exist, it's inevitable. It's coming. No matter the amount of love or hate people have for it, it's coming. Here's my view on the AI thing. Japan, they're having a birth rate crisis, right? Population crisis. So that means less person in their workforce just by default, right? On top of that, they're having a shortage of animators, right? Or young animators, young aspiring animators that want to be in the anime industry, right? So what they're having to resort to is outsourcing a lot of work to other countries. I don't like that idea, but I can see why they're resorting to that, realistically, because they're having a shortage of animators, and anime is being consumed at a rate that has never been consumed at before, where the production of it is being pumped out more and more at a rate that's, where they got to keep up with that pacing, right? So they're having to resort to outsourcing work outside of Japan. I don't like that. Why don't I like that? Because the more you outsource anime, the more it's going to lose that cultural touch that I enjoy out of anime. I love watching anime where I see the Japanese aesthetic. I love watching anime that takes place in a Japanese classroom with sliding doors, even the most minuscule thing, because it's escapism for me. I love the cherry blossoms. I love how the characters interact with each other. I love how the characters refer to each other by the last names first before the first names, because this is a cultural thing that's not normal where I live, right over here in the West. So I love the cultural, and many more reasons why I love the cultural aspect that anime provides of the Japanese sauce. So the more you outsource anime, the more you're going to lose touch of that. So I'm actually cool with animators and animation studios using AI to kind of make up for that, to where they don't have to outsource work to like China or South Korea, right? I've said this in many streams where I'm cool with an animator or a mangaka coming up with an original character that stems from their own imagination and their own ideas, right? And maybe using AI to do in between framework, from having a character stand to, let's say, a character doing a jump kick. I'm cool with them doing stuff like that, where where you don't have to outsource those in between frameworks to other countries. That way, the Japanese animator can have the anime in their full control, where they're not reliant on other countries to outsource work to. That way, they have creative control over it. It's right in front of them. Basically, they have ultimate control over it, right? So I'm cool with that. And we always, over here, like, we complain about the overwork culture. We sympathize with the Japanese workforce, the overwork culture, where it's almost like normal to work like 16-hour days in the animation studio, where people are basically sleeping in the studio with sleeping bags and shit, because the workload is just so heavy. And that was even back in the 90s, right? So I can only imagine what it's going to be like now, where the pacing of anime is being released and consumed at a pace we never seen before. And if people can use AI, what's this? If people can use, is that DiCaprio? Oh, The Beach. Have y'all ever seen this movie, DiCaprio? Yo, man, whoever doing this loves DiCaprio. Have y'all ever seen this movie, DiCaprio, The Beach? It's actually pretty good. This was after Titanic. Did he just? Okay, all right. So let's say I'm cool with a Japanese animator using AI to do like in between frameworks. Maybe not all the time, because there is lessons to be learned and experience to be gained with going through that tedious process. But I'm cool with a Japanese animator using AI to do the in between frameworks, that tedious shit that can turn a 16-hour day into an 8-hour work day, right? I'm cool with that. I have no problem with that. Now, if you're talking about just using AI to do everything, to basically generate every idea for you, then of course I'm gonna have a problem with that, because basically at that point you're just using prompts to type in the right shit to have AI produce everything. At that point, you're not being creative or artistic. You're just being clever. You're just being clever with using the right prompts to generate shit, right? So that's my kind of nuanced take on it. I don't have this absolute take on AI as far as being against it or being for it. And I've said this in my Ghibli video. I think some people lost without the meaning of what I was trying to get across in that video. So to sum it up, I'm cool with animators using AI to do in between framework to make a character jump to make a character stand to doing a jump kick, like say, because that can turn a 16-hour workday into a 9-hour workday. Plus, on top of the shortage of young aspiring animators, the workforce is becoming lessened, so they don't have enough supply to keep up with demand. So they're being forced to outsource work, right? Outsource labor to other countries, and I don't like that, because that little by little is going to strip away the cultural touch that Japan has. The more you outsource work, right? So yeah, basically y'all get my point. I hope. I feel like I'm repeating myself at this point. It's not going to be used like that though. It's going to be now, yeah, and that okay, yeah. Side to my, yeah, that is going to get to a point where encourage people to just get lazy, especially with new coming generations where AI is just going to be. Because this is how I look at it as a millennial. As a millennial, I remember when MySpace got introduced, and that was kind of like the forthcoming of social media. But I know what life was like before social media, and I know what life is now like after social media, where it's kind of integrated into society. So I have a perspective of both worlds, where Gen Z and Gen Alpha, I would say, are growing up with social media, so they don't know what life is like before social media. It's just like part of their world. And I think that's what AI is going to be for a lot of creatives nowadays, where like you're going to get creatives now who know how to work without AI are going to have a perspective without it, and you're going to have a world where they can use it to kind of reduce the workload of certain processes that are tedious, right? But with the coming generations, they're going to grow up with AI, and they're going to just be conditioned to have AI or use AI to do everything for them. And they're not going to know how to be creative. They're just going to use it to do everything. And it is going to encourage a lot of lazy motherfuckers. It's going to encourage a lot of lazy motherfuckers that just use AI for everything. I do agree with that. That's kind of the reality of things. And I'm very realistic where I just see that coming. I don't think it's anything that can be done about it. Because I see the pros and cons with AI. I see the pros and cons with it. It's just like the pros and cons with everything, with every new pieces of technology that gets introduced into society, going back to when the car replaced the horse, right? Or when the wheel was invented. I'm sure like that cut out a lot of people who maybe did the workload that the wheel replaced. Like, to me, I just see, I have a realistic view of things, man. Where there's pros and cons to it, where I see the pros that, especially when it comes to Hollywood, because there's a lot of movies to be made where like Hollywood is just refusing to make it. There's so many ideas and original concepts that Hollywood is just refusing to implement or just put into effect and create, because it doesn't fall into the politically correct guidelines. Where I think AI is going to liberate a lot of independent creators to kind of do what Hollywood is refusing to do, and they can use it as a tool for themselves. You know, when I see shit like, for instance, like even with this, where the fact that AI can do this, and this is like, how long ago was this? This is 7 months ago. I'm sure even AI has gotten to the point or progressed to the point where it's going to look way better than this, right? So there's pros and cons to it. I think it's going to be a heavy competition or a heavy competitive tool for Hollywood to compete with, where we're not at the mercy of what they produce, because Hollywood and game development isn't like music. Like, I can hire my own studio equipment. I can hire my own mic. I can do shit with Pro Tools or GarageBand, right? I don't need an engineer or producer or mixer or anything for that. So, but Hollywood and game development is different, where you need to work with a team. Like, there's so many aspects and elements and layers to game development and movie and show development that you're forced to work with a team. And in today's work field, you need to partner with Hollywood to make some good shit. But the problem is there's too many activists in Hollywood, and you're going to be forced to work by their standards, where AI is going to help the independent creator to finally be able to create shit that they've been wanting to make for years without going through the red tape of Hollywood or going through the standards of mainstream AAA game development, you know, to where somebody whoever created this is basically like us, just sitting in their crib, and they was able to do this within hours with just by themselves, right?
Annihilation. Humanity faces an enemy unlike any before.
This is Neon Genesis Evangelion if it was made in the 1950s, right?
They can only be piloted by a select few.
Now, like, I think this is pretty good for what somebody was able to do with AI. This is one person doing this where, you know, conventionally and traditionally, you would need a whole Hollywood production to do this. For like the beginning stages, the nascent stages of AI, to be able to do something like this looks pretty good. Now, of course, it's only going to get better. It's only going to get better, yo.
Lonely teenager, haunted by his past, is summoned by his estranged father to pilot Evangelion Unit 01, alongside Rei Ayanami, the enigmatic girl with a mysterious connection to the Evangelions. The fiery prodigy determined to prove herself. They become humanity's last line.
They really got her drinking all the time. Yo, who just said that? They said that this is the bull from House, or that doctor, that hospital show. Is it House? What's the name of that damn show? It does look like him. I didn't even peep at first, but he does look like the character in Genesis, right? His father. They really got her down. Like, this is AI. This is insane. Was already seeing. Oh, my fault. Let me catch up. Wait. Red Dead Redemption. Yo, look at the thumbnails for this. The thumbnails are insane, yo. And I remember when I made my video on AI, I knew I was going to lose subscribers because I know there are people that have a hard stance, like hard line against it. And I knew I was going to lose subscribers when I made that video, when I kind of gave my nuanced opinion as I did in this live stream just now. Because I don't have a hard no against it, and I also don't have a hard I'm for it, you know. I'm very nuanced in like how I'm seeing the pros and cons of it, right? Traditionally, you would need a whole Hollywood production just to put that trailer together, right? You would have to hire actors, hire the writers, multiple writers maybe, which I think that's over valued, having multiple writers on a script. I think people should go back to the days where it's just one writer, where you don't, the whole idea of a writer's room, that's too many ideas being thrown into a script, I think, is what has destroyed a lot of scripts, in my opinion. You had to hire the director, hire the cameraman, hire executive producers, hire somebody, executive producers handle the music, the cast, and everything, where one guy can just handle all of that on their own with AI, right? So there's pros and cons to it. Like I said, it's a good liberator for the independent creator, especially when it comes to game development and movies. It's going to make a lot of people lazy as far as the coming generations of like creators, because I think it's going to encourage a lot of too much reliancy, where basically going to be relying on AI to produce everything. Vice City, yeah, we was watching it.